We have a Tyler Glasnow injury update. As we know, Glasnow has been out of the lineup the last few weeks, and everybody with the Dodgers is wondering, when is Glasnow going to come back? Hey, this is Mike Nelson of Dodgers Digest. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the almost 9% of you that have subscribed, but 91% of you who are watching these videos haven't hit that subscribe button yet. And right now, another channel in our company, Yankees Digest, is definitely beating us right now, so we can't let that happen. We got to get more subscribers than the Yankees because we are a better team than that. We're a better fan base. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any big Dodger news. Let's get right into it. Today we got an update from Dave Roberts talking about Tyler Glasnow. And of course, when is he going to come back? That's, I think, everybody's wondering. And Dave Roberts said we're hopeful. He still thinks there's a lot of variables. There's still a lot to decipher. Basically, he was asked whether Glasnow was going to be coming back in the month of September, and basically that's all we got from Dave Roberts. Basically, we don't really know. We're hopeful, which is obviously a bit concerning to say the least. If you're a Dodger fan, he was also asked. This is all coming from DodgersNation.com. He was also asked whether the elbow tendonitis is something that's going to prevent him from pitching. Like he said, he's not sure about it. You're probably looking for a pain-free elbow, but that's he basically answered that he doesn't really know for sure, right? And then also when you look at the statement, basically saying I do know right now when you're starting up, you're probably looking for pain-free. So is he trying to say that Glasnow still has pain in the elbow? I think that's what I think everybody is wondering, right? Is that kind of what Dave Roberts was trying to say with that statement, right? That Glasnow still has some pain in that elbow, and that's what's probably going to prevent him from being ready to go soon, right? Because I think that's what the issue is right now. They're trying to get him to a point where he's not feeling any pain, and he's able to throw the ball with no issues. Because if he's throwing the ball obviously with pain, there's probably something still wrong there, and you don't want to end up having him, get hurt even further. With of course his injury history, right? You don't want to end up having to have off-season surgery, and then he ends up missing an extended period, next year, right? I think that's what everybody is wondering. And, this is coming from another article, another pretty cool Yahoo Sports article from Dylan Hernandez from the LA Times. Talking about this could be a problem, right? A problem as massive as Glasnow's 6'8" frame. Yeah, the guy is a really tall guy. And, this is an issue, right? Is it going to be a problem come playoff time? And is Glasnow going to be counted on in 2024? Hernandez goes on to say in his article how, Glasnow was always going to be a major gamble for the Dodgers. And I agree with him. This was a gamble, to say the least, because the guy has been injured a lot, in his career, right? He hasn't started more than 21 games or more than 128 until this year. And, had an elbow repaired by the Tommy John surgery back in 2021. And it looks like it's, unfortunately, maybe that elbow is flaring up again. And, we don't know at what extent, right? Because it's still kind of early right now. The Dodgers are not going to be completely transparent on exactly what is, going on with, Tyler Glasnow's elbow. We do know that there's pain right now. But there's not really like a lot of transparency, right? There's a limited amount of information on what exactly is what is wrong with his elbow, right? That's what I think. There's a limited amount of information because obviously the season is still going on, and the Dodgers aren't going to come out and say Glasnow, there's only like a 20% chance that he's going to even pitch again this year. They don't want to come on and say that, or even talking about potentially giving him a surgery, which would really, set the Dodgers back even further. Not just this year, but also next year in 2025. So just some concerning news, to say the least, if you're a Dodger fan, because you just don't have a clear answer on what's the path the Dodgers are going to take with Glasnow, and there just isn't a lot of time left. I mean, it's literally August 30th today. The season ends, basically in a month. At the end of September, the playoffs kick off. Early October with the wild card round, and then of course the NLDS will be kicking off a few days later after that. Hopefully the Dodgers are not playing in the wild card round, although this weekend is going to decide a lot when it comes to that. But going back to Glasnow and all the list of injuries the Dodgers have, that's what concerns you as a Dodgers fan, right? The Dodgers going into this year, I think their goal was to have Tyler Glasnow and Yoshinobu Yamamoto be that 1-2 punch, right? Those two guys were free agent signings, and after last year's disastrous playoff, disaster against the Dbacks, where the Dodgers basically didn't have an ace pitcher to rely on, the Dodgers, one of their main goals in the offseason was to sign an ace pitcher and sign, potentially two guys, and that's what they did. I mean, the Dodgers had one of their best off seasons ever in history. And not just because they got Shohei Ohtani, that was the big capper, right? That was the big icing on the cake, getting the best player in baseball and future pitcher as well for the Dodgers, right? The guy is already throwing some bullpen, I believe already throwing some pitches, getting his pitching up to where it's got to be. Hopefully, not expected to pitch this year, although like Brad J talked about on this channel, the Dodgers are doing some special stuff with Ohtani, so maybe there's going to be some surprises, maybe come out of the bullpen in the playoffs. We'll see. But at the moment, there's nothing official that Ohtani will be pitching this year. But anyway, this year it was going to be Yamamoto and Glasnow being the two guys. Kershaw was going to be out most of the year, as we know, and that's what happened. And Kershaw, came back recently. But I don't think Kershaw was expected to be that number one guy. That's kind of where they're at right now. Kershaw, with this big series against the Arizona Dbacks this weekend, is going to be the starter tonight in Game 1 of that series, right? It's pretty crazy. Kershaw was the starter in Game 1 of the series against the Dbacks last year in the NLDS at Dodger Stadium. We know how that went. And now Kershaw gets the ball in Game 1 of this massive series against the Arizona Dbacks this weekend. The biggest series for both teams this year, has to be the biggest series for the D-backs and the biggest series for the Dodgers. There's just so much on the line this weekend. And once again, the Dodgers are going to hope that Kershaw can come through. As we know, it has been a struggle for him in the big games in his career outside of the 2020 bubble year where he excelled in the playoffs. Outside of that, it hasn't been Kershaw has not been reliable when it comes to the big-time games. That's why the Dodgers, unfortunately, have, come up short in some years. And it has to do, unfortunately, with Kershaw and just his lack of being able to pitch in the big moments, in the big games like today, right? So we'll see if Kershaw can come through. That's what the Dodgers need. And, yeah, with Glasnow and Yamamoto being out. Yamamoto, of course, pitched in the minors on Wednesday. Did give up a home run, which is not good to hear. But hopefully Yamamoto can come back and be at full strength and be a star pitcher for this team. Because right now you look at this rotation, and there's definitely some concerns. Right, there isn't a lot of experience. There's not a lot of playoff experience at all outside of Clayton Kershaw. Right, I mean that's not good. You don't want to have an inexperienced rotation. That's kind of what the Dodgers are at right now. With Glasnow, he has some experience, right? I mean, the guy with Tampa Bay got some playoff reps under his belt, and then Yamamoto, first year in the major leagues, but the guy is really talented, right? I mean, the Dodgers signed him for $300 million, right? I mean, it's he should be ready for the playoffs if he's getting that kind of money. So. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Kershaw on the mound tonight. Hopefully they can get it done. They have a 4-game lead on the D-backs. Some people are talking about on social media the Dodgers just need to split the series, right? Just win a couple games this series, and they'll have a 4-game lead come Monday afternoon after the game's over. That's all they got to do. Win a couple games this weekend, and they will keep the 4-game lead. That's all they got to do. You only win one game, it's going to be only a 2-game lead. And if you don't win any games, well, they're going to be tied, and that's going to be bad. So let's hope the Dodgers win tonight, get a game 1 of a 4-game set win. Go Dodgers. Make sure to subscribe.